There comes a moment when you look around and realize your life has been running on autopilot. The days blur together, the routines loop like a scratched record, and everything inside of you whispers the same uncomfortable truth. You haven't changed nearly as much as you've talked about changing. And that realization stings, not because you failed, but because you suddenly see the potential you've been avoiding. The next 6 to 12 months could turn you into someone your current self wouldn't even recognize. Not through dramatic resolutions or sudden bursts of motivation, but through a complete internal reboot. This isn't a fresh start fantasy. It's a psychological rebuild. And it begins with stripping away the identity that kept you comfortable but not fulfilled. Every version of you that has existed so far was built through habits you never questioned and routines you never challenged. You think you're choosing your life, but most days, it's your autopilot choosing for you. Reinvention doesn't happen when you set new goals. It happens when you stop being loyal to the version of yourself that never grew. Before you become someone new, you have to let the old character retire, and yes, that requires honesty. You need to walk through your days and notice exactly where you shrink, avoid, distract, escape, and sabotage. Not to fix it immediately, but to finally see it without excuses. Awareness breaks the illusion. Once you notice the cracks, you can't unnotice them. And the identity you've been living in starts collapsing on its own. Only after the breakdown comes the sculpting. Reinvention is not about piling more onto your life, it's about removing what never belonged. Beneath the noise, the distractions, the expectations, and the comfort you clung to, there's a version of you that's been waiting for space to breathe. And that version only appears when things get quiet enough. For a few months, your job isn't to be impressive, it's to be intentional. Each morning, remind yourself of what's still good in your life. Choose what actually matters that day, and then do the one thing you've been avoiding the most. Not because it's magical, but because avoidance is the birthplace of stagnation. Reinvention is simply choosing the hard thing before the easy one, long enough for it to become your normal dot. And if you want consistency, you have to understand the truth most people never admit. Discipline isn't the problem. It's the emotional dependency on feeling ready. People wait for motivation, for the perfect moment, for clarity, for confidence, for inspiration. But the people who change their lives stop negotiating with their emotions entirely. They don't act because they feel like it. They act because they said they would. Over the next 60 days, create systems so simple they're impossible to wiggle out of. Not, I'll go to the gym when I have time, but I lift at 8 a.m. Not, I'll edit when I'm inspired, but I edit for 30 minutes regardless. Discipline becomes easier when it stops being a decision. Small wins stack. And when small wins stack, identity shifts. The next phase is internal belief engineering. Your life never grows beyond what you believe you deserve. You stay stuck not from lack of potential, but from a mental ceiling that refuses to let you operate like someone with higher standards. You need to train your mind to accept a new default. Start describing yourself from the perspective of who you're becoming. I'm someone who follows through. I'm someone who finishes. I'm someone who acts even when no one is watching. Your brain doesn't care if it's true. It cares if it's repeated. Identity grows through repetition, not inspiration. You're not faking anything, you're training your mind to recognize you. Once your beliefs and your behaviors finally align, momentum starts doing the heavy lifting. Suddenly, the grind doesn't feel like a grind. You're focused, sharper, structured. You start protecting your attention like it's a currency. You shut down distractions like you're allergic to them. You carve out time blocks where you exist in full concentration. And at the end of each day, you ask the only question that matters. What did I do today that the old me would have avoided? That question rewires your brain faster than any motivational speech. Because every time you act differently, you vote for the future you instead of the past you, then, almost quietly, you enter the most powerful stage, identity transfer. When discipline is steady and your mindset is stable, you stop acting like the person you used to be. You start thinking from the perspective of your future self, the one who's already leveled up. You make decisions from a place of clarity, not impulse. You choose long-term over short-term because you finally believe you're worth the payoff. And the craziest part? Life outside starts adjusting to match who you're becoming inside. People react to you differently. Opportunities feel closer. Temptations lose their pull. It is not magic. It's alignment. One morning you'll wake up and realize the loop you were trapped in for years is gone. The thoughts that used to sabotage you don't even show up anymore. You'll say no with confidence, not guilt. You'll look back at the person you were 6 months ago like you're watching an old movie, familiar but distant. Reinvention isn't luck. It's consistency multiplied by self-awareness, repeated long enough to rewrite who you are. But the real challenge isn't becoming the new you. It's staying the new you once life gets comfortable again. Comfort is the doorway back to your old identity, and most people walk right through it. That's why 90% of transformations collapse. And that's why I built the 5-Year Shift, a private community for people who don't just want change, but want to sustain it. Systems, accountability, structure, the things that keep the new identity alive long after motivation fades. Reinventing your life doesn't require 100 massive changes. It requires one shift. The decision to stop repeating the same year and start building a new one. 6 months from now, you're either going to be living the same loop, or living a life your old self wouldn't even recognize. The direction is up to you. The discipline is up to you. And the identity, the one you'll carry into every future chapter, starts right here. Before you go, watch this. How your body language destroys your respect without you noticing. It connects perfectly with the identity shift you're starting today, and it'll help you show up like the person you're becoming.